Michael Bernard Bell is scheduled for execution on July 15, 2025. This date marks a critical juncture in a case spanning over 3 decades. Bell was convicted of a double murder committed in Jacksonville, Florida, in 1993. His impending execution is set to occur at Florida State Prison in Raiford. This event brings renewed scrutiny to the complexities of capital punishment. The case itself is a stark illustration of tragic mistaken identity. It also underscores a profound cycle of violence. This cycle began with a prior death and culminated in the murders for which Bell was condemned. The narrative of this case demands a thorough analytical review. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. The events leading to the 1993 double murder are rooted in a preceding tragedy. Michael Bell's actions were directly precipitated by the death of his brother, Lamar Bell. Lamar Bell had been killed in June 1993. His death was at the hands of Theodore Wright. Wright's actions were later determined to be in self-defense. This initial incident set in motion a chain of retaliatory intent. Michael Bell became consumed by a desire for revenge. His singular objective was to kill Theodore Wright. Bell's intent was not concealed. He publicly swore revenge. He meticulously plotted his retribution for several months. This period of planning indicates a premeditated and deliberate course of action. The culmination of this planning occurred in December 1993. On December 8, 1993, Bell acquired an AK-47 rifle. He also purchased a significant quantity of ammunition. This acquisition demonstrated a clear intent to inflict lethal force. The critical error in Bell's plan involved a vehicle. Theodore Wright had previously sold his distinctive yellow Plymouth. The car was sold to his half-brother, Jimmy West. On December 9, 1993, Bell observed the yellow Plymouth. He mistakenly believed the car was still owned and operated by Theodore Wright. This misidentification proved fatal. Bell then returned to the car's location. He was accompanied by 2 friends and armed with the AK-47 rifle. Their arrival signaled the imminent attack. Bell proceeded to ambush the occupants of the vehicle. Jimmy West was present, along with his companion, Tameka Smith. Both individuals became unintended targets. Bell was operating under the profound misapprehension that West was Theodore Wright. This mistaken identity led directly to the fatal shootings. West and Smith were both shot. The attack was characterized by extreme violence. Bell fired 12 bullets into Jimmy West at point-blank range. West sustained catastrophic injuries. Tameka Smith was also shot at point-blank range. She was struck by 4 bullets. The ferocity of the attack left no chance for survival. Jimmy West died at the scene of the shooting. Tameka Smith succumbed to her injuries en route to the hospital. Their deaths were a direct consequence of Bell's vengeful pursuit. The violence extended beyond the immediate victims. Bell also fired indiscriminately at bystanders. The front of a nearby lounge was riddled with bullets. Following the shooting, Bell drove to his aunt's house. There, he made a chilling statement. He declared, "Theodore got my brother, and now I got his brother." This statement confirmed his motive and his tragic error. A 1993 double murder was not an isolated incident in Michael Bell's criminal record. His history includes convictions for 3 other murders. These prior offenses paint a broader picture of his violent tendencies. One of these earlier convictions involved a woman and her toddler son. These murders occurred in 1989. This demonstrates a pattern of extreme violence predating the West and Smith killings. Another victim was his mother's boyfriend. This murder took place approximately 4 months before the West and Smith shooting. This proximity suggests a continuous period of violent behavior. The cumulative nature of these crimes is significant. It indicates a sustained propensity for lethal violence. This history was a factor in the legal proceedings against him. Michael Bell's conviction for the murders of Jimmy West and Tameka Smith occurred in 1995. This marked the beginning of a protracted legal battle. The case has since navigated numerous appeals. These appeals have raised several critical legal arguments. claims of ineffective counsel were a recurring theme. Such claims challenged the adequacy of legal representation during trial. Violations of due process were also alleged. These arguments contend that Bell's fundamental rights were infringed upon during the legal proceedings. The integrity of the trial was repeatedly questioned. A significant legal development impacting Florida's death penalty was the U.S. Supreme Court's 2016 ruling in Hurst v. Florida. This decision required juries, not judges, to find the facts necessary for a death sentence. Bell's case, like many others, was affected by this ruling. More recent appeals have focused on allegations of witness coercion. These claims specifically implicated law enforcement and prosecutors. Detective William Belena and prosecutor George Badith were named in these allegations. The defense contended that witnesses were improperly influenced. This alleged misconduct, if proven, could undermine the fairness of the trial. It raised serious questions about the evidence presented. However, the presiding judge found that the defense failed to prove prosecutorial misconduct. The court determined that the allegations lacked sufficient evidentiary support. This ruling upheld the integrity of the prosecution's actions. Furthermore, the court ruled that any new evidence presented would not have likely altered the trial outcome. This assessment suggests that the existing evidence was overwhelmingly conclusive. It reinforced the original conviction. The appellate process has been exhaustive. It has involved multiple levels of review. Each appeal sought to identify grounds for overturning the conviction or sentence. Despite these extensive legal challenges, Bell's conviction and death sentence have been consistently upheld. The judicial system has affirmed the original findings. This persistence highlights the robustness of the state's case. The legal journey of Michael Bell exemplifies the intricate and often lengthy nature of capital cases. Every avenue for relief is typically explored. This process ensures a thorough examination of all claims. The finality of the current legal status underscores the exhaustion of these avenues. The courts have rendered their definitive judgments. The path to execution has been cleared through this rigorous process. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed Michael Bell's death warrant on June 13, 2024. This action initiated the final countdown to the scheduled execution. The warrant sets the date for July 15, 2025. This particular death warrant is significant for several reasons. It marks the 8th death warrant signed by Governor DeSantis in 2025. This number is notable within the state's history. The signing of 8 death warrants in a single calendar year matches Florida's existing record. This statistic reflects a heightened pace of executions under the current administration. It signals a firm stance on capital punishment. The case of Michael Bell, culminating in his scheduled execution, profoundly underscores the complexities inherent in the death penalty. It forces a critical examination of justice, retribution, and human error. The finality of the sentence raises enduring ethical and legal questions. The case also highlights the devastating impact of violence. The initial act of revenge, born from a prior death, spiraled into further fatalities. This chain of events illustrates the destructive power of unchecked aggression. Finally, Bell's case serves a stark illustration of the legal processes involved in capital punishment. It demonstrates the extensive appeals, the scrutiny of evidence, and the ultimate decisions made by the state. The journey from crime to execution is a long and arduous one, marked by numerous legal milestones. The impending execution of Michael Bell on July 15, 2025, is not merely a procedural event. It is a moment that compels reflection on the nature of justice, the consequences of violence, and the enduring debate surrounding capital punishment in Florida and beyond.